When the light comes up, the greatest hunter here becomes the one who reacts. On the savannah, a single moment of exposure decides who lives. Out on the open grassland, 1,000 eyes are the weapon. The ruler of the savannah is not the strongest, but the sharpest. On the daytime plains, light is both ally and enemy, exposing every movement and turning a hunt into a test of alertness. Sunlight touches the mara. Heat shivers up off the dry grass, and the horizon softens like a pane of glass bending in on itself. There is no shadow here wide enough to hide a body. And yet somewhere in that yellow grass, a body is hiding. A lioness presses flat against the ground, sinking into the color of the dry plain. All that separates her from that plain is one decision made at the wrong moment. One step at a time, into the wind. Her body so low that the grass closes again behind her. The herd explodes into motion. Wildebeest hit 50 miles an hour. The lioness breaks cover with too much ground still between them. The chase is over. The prey is gone. In broad daylight, being seen means the hunt has already been decided. Hunting alone in daylight, that number falls to roughly 1 kill in every 5 chases. The sun is not neutral. It has just disarmed the finest hunter on this plain. Wildebeest herds cover the whole grassland, moving between the Serengeti and the Masai Mara with the grass and the rains. No den, no thicket, nowhere to hide at all. The wildebeest is not the fastest, and it is not the strongest either. So why does the herd stand out in the open instead of tucking into the brush? Because being able to see is safety. Open ground is not a gap in their defense, it is an alarm system. The many eyes effect has been measured. An animal inside a large herd raises its head to scan less often than one in a small herd, and the animal in the middle scans least of all and feeds the most. That is also why the morning stalk failed. One head lifted at the right instant is enough, because thousands of other eyes are splitting the same horizon between them. But light does not solve thirst. A wildebeest has to drink every 1 to 2 days, 2 to 3 gallons at a time. The riverbank is the one place where that shield breaks. And the route to water is not one the herd charts for itself. The one holding the map is the African elephant, an adult of which needs 40 to 80 gallons of water a day. With a demand like that, walking the wrong direction is far too expensive, so the matriarch serves as a living database where water still stands, which routes are still passable, which seasons leave the riverbed bone dry. The groups that left the national park were all led by females old enough to have lived through the drought at the end of the 1950s. The data supports that idea. When the riverbed runs dry, elephants break the sand open with their tusks and dig deep with their trunks until water seeps in. Those wells do not belong to the elephants alone. Other species drink from them too. Where the elephants are, the water is. The wildebeest herd reads the elephant's position like a map of water, and that map points toward the river. When the elephant's water map leads the way toward the river, a far harsher survival test than anything on the yellow grass officially begins. Thirst collapses the herd's shield. To drink, you must lower your head, and to lower your head is to stop watching. Beneath the murky water, Nile crocodiles are quietly setting their ambush. This is not laziness, it is lethal preparation. Half a ton of bodies sunk into the mud, with only the eyes and the ridge of the nose showing. The distance closes in silence while the prey is still straining its neck down to the water's edge. The surface detonates in an instant. A bite like a sledgehammer tears the river open. The wildebeest scatter in panic toward the sandbank. The lucky ones stagger up onto the shallows, leaving one of their own sinking into the churn. The death roll tears the prey apart, releasing the explosive energy banked through an entire morning in the sun. And yet that bite is not the final full stop. A Nile crocodile can go months without eating, so the leftover meat abandoned on the sand is about to wake the next detection network in the Savannah sky. Sunlight pours across the Serengeti plains like golden lava spreading over every blade of grass, every lone acacia, every speck of dust suspended in the scorching air. This is Africa, the continent where life never stops moving and death is never more than one step away. In the chest-high grass, a golden shadow lies motionless, a lioness not resting, waiting. Her body weighs over 130 pounds, stretching nearly 6.5 feet long, pressed flat against the earth. Her pale, golden coat blends perfectly into the sea of dry grass, transforming the apex predator into an invisible ghost in broad daylight. Golden eyes narrow, locking onto a herd of topy antelope over 300 feet away. Eyes evolved to see through swaying grass, to distinguish the movement of prey from the movement of wind. In a lion pride, the male commands the majestic mane and a roar that carries 5 miles. But the one who truly feeds the pride, the one who carries out 90% of all hunts, is always the female. They hunt in groups with sophisticated, coordinated tactics. 1 lures from the front, 2 flank from either side. The lioness is not the fastest on the savanna. Her top speed reaches only about 50 miles per hour, far slower than the antelope. But she compensates with intelligence and the ability to read her prey before it even chooses which way to run. Every hunt is a chess match, and the lioness plays chess better than any big cat on the planet. But the prey is no easy catch. The topy, the fastest antelope in East Africa, spotted the danger before the lioness even left her position. Because the topy possess a habit few antelope share: sentry duty. A single individual breaks from the herd, climbs the tallest termite mound in sight, and stands motionless for hours, scanning the entire savanna with eyes evolved to detect movement at extreme distance. A topy's body stretches about 5 feet 7 inches, weighing up to 140 pounds. Their dark brown coat shimmers with iridescent blue-purple patches on the shoulders and thighs, a strange beauty amid the scorched savanna. The whole herd surges like a wave, hitting 60 miles per hour within the first few strides. The lioness stops, breathing hard. Today, speed beats strategy. But on the savannah, one creature's failure is always another's opportunity. The dust cloud the topee left behind hasn't settled, and another pair of eyes has been watching from the edge of the grassland. The spotted hyena. Africa's most misunderstood animal, not the cowardly scavenger of legend, but one of the savannah's most efficient hunters. In reality, spotted hyenas hunt for themselves in over 70% of their meals. They run with endurance, not as fast as the topee in a straight line, but maintaining 40 miles per hour over several miles until their prey collapses from exhaustion. Their jaws generate a bite force exceeding 1100 psi, the strongest of any terrestrial carnivore. But the most extraordinary thing is not the jaw, it is the society. Spotted hyenas live in a matriarchal system. Females dominate males, and the lowest-ranking female still outranks the highest-ranking male in the clan. Their social structure rivals that of primates. They recognize every member by voice, remember alliances and rivalries, and make tactical decisions as a group. When a spotted hyena laughs, that spine-chilling cackle echoing across the savannah, it is not laughter. It is a complex communication signal, carrying information about body size, location, and intent. A hyena clan can number up to 80 individuals, coordinating attacks with a precision that forces even lion prides to yield. But there is one creature on the savannah that both lions and hyenas think twice before attacking. The African Cape buffalo. Locals call them Black Death, and not without reason. Every year, Cape buffalo kill more hunters in Africa than any other large animal. They do not flee, they turn around. A body weighing up to about 2,000 pounds, a pair of horns fused into a thick shield atop the skull, a structure biologists call the boss so hard that rifle bullets sometimes ricochet off it. Each charge delivers force equivalent to a small car hitting at 30 miles per hour. But the true power of the Cape buffalo lies not in the individual. It lies in the herd. When a calf is dragged down by a lion, a group turns back. Not an organized retreat, a full-scale counterattack. Adult buffalo charge straight into the lion pride, horns leveled, each one weighing nearly a ton. Buffalo counterattacks are among the most violent spectacles on the savannah, and the outcome does not always favor the predator. Cape buffalo have terrifying memories. They remember their enemies and seek revenge. A lion that once attacked the herd may be hunted down days later. Amid the violence of the savannah, there comes a moment of unexpected tenderness. On a wet patch of grass beside a shallow lake, a pair of grey-crowned cranes are dancing. Not moving, literally dancing. The golden crown atop their heads, actually a tuft of stiff bristles, quivers with every step. Wings spread over 6.5 feet wide, legs lifted high, heads nodding rhythmically in the midday sun. The grey-crowned crane is the only crane species that can perch in trees thanks to a hind toe long enough to grip branches, a trait no other crane on the planet possesses. This is the courtship dance, one of the most elaborate rituals in the avian world. The pair dances face to face, spins in circles, dances then freezes, as if testing whether their partner has the patience to wait. Grey-crowned cranes mate for life. Once they choose a partner, they never change year after year, dancing together, nesting together, raising young on a savanna full of danger. Their calls carry for miles 2 alternating notes, high and low, like a duet beneath the blue African sky. Violence and tenderness, speed and patience, the power of the herd, and lifelong devotion. On this continent, life writes every story imaginable. But Africa is only one chapter. This planet holds another kingdom, vaster, deeper, and more mysterious than every savanna, every jungle, every desert combined. The ocean. And at the deepest reaches of the ocean, night is eternal. The sun is nothing but a memory buried beneath miles of seawater. The Mariana Trench, the deepest scar on the face of the Earth, stretching over 1,500 miles across the western Pacific, where 2 tectonic plates collide and one is swallowed into the bowels of the planet. Its deepest point, Challenger Deep, plunges nearly 36,000 feet below the surface. If you placed Mount Everest on the trench floor, the peak would still lie buried under more than a mile of water. Join us as we explore the deepest layers of the ocean to witness life where existence seems impossible. the blue whale, the largest creature ever to exist on Earth, not just today, but in the entire history of life, including the age of the dinosaurs. Their bodies stretch over 100 feet longer than 3 buses lined end to end. Their weight exceeds 200 tons. A blue whale's heart weighs between 180 and 270 pounds. It is so large that a small child could crawl through its major arteries. But size is not their only weapon. Blue whales communicate through low-frequency sounds that resonate hundreds of miles across the ocean. These calls fall below the threshold of human hearing, penetrating water the way radio waves penetrate the atmosphere. In a world without light, sound is the dominant language. A single call can travel over 500 miles, passing through layers of water with varying temperatures and salinity, bending along the contours of the ocean floor. Blue whales find mates through sound. They find feeding grounds through sound. In a world where visibility reaches only a few dozen feet, sound is the compass, the map, and the love letter, all in a single vibration. At adult size, blue whales have virtually no natural predators. They are living proof that in the sunlit surface waters, where light and plankton are abundant, life can reach a scale that stretches the imagination. But the blue whale is not the only giant that chose the strategy of filter feeding to survive. The whale shark, the largest fish on Earth and one of the ocean's greatest living paradoxes. Their bodies stretch over 40 feet on average, but the largest individuals ever recorded reached nearly 60 feet. Their weight ranges from about 17 to over 22 tons. A mouth that opens over 5 feet wide, large enough to swallow a full-grown person whole, but they never do. Inside that mouth, thousands of tiny teeth line up in rows, but none are used for biting. They are entirely structural, like relics of an evolutionary past left behind. The whale shark is a living filter. It sucks water through its mouth, strains it through its gills, and traps plankton, fish eggs, and tiny shrimp. About 1,600 gallons of water pass through its body every hour. Every whale shark carries on its skin a pattern of spots as unique as a fingerprint. No two are alike. Their skin ranks among the thickest in the fish world, a natural armor protecting the massive but delicate body within. Whale sharks are ovoviviparous. Eggs hatch inside the mother's body, and the young are born fully formed. A single female can carry hundreds of embryos at various stages of development. Despite their sluggish appearance at the surface, whale sharks can dive to depths of about 6,200 feet, plunging through the twilight zone into near total darkness. Their lifespan may exceed a century, 100 years of quietly filtering water, drifting across oceans along routes that science has yet to fully map. They migrate with the seasons, sometimes crossing entire oceans, but always returning to the same plankton-rich waters year after year, as if a map were hardwired into their genes. The largest, the gentlest, the most patient. Over more than a century of existence, a single whale shark filters billions of gallons of water, slowly, patiently, without haste. The giant oceanic manta ray, a wingspan reaching up to about 30 feet, the largest ray on the planet. But size is not the most astonishing thing. The manta ray possesses the largest brain-to-body ratio of any cold-blooded fish, a brain that surpasses those of all sharks, tunas, and swordfish. And that brain is not for decoration. In experiments, manta rays can recognize themselves in a mirror, an ability scientists call self-awareness, documented in only a handful of species: great apes, dolphins, elephants, and crows. They can dive to depths of about 4,100 feet, plunging through the twilight zone, where light is nothing but a fading memory. When feeding, they coordinate in groups, forming spirals, executing barrel rolls to create vortices, funneling plankton into a spinning column, and then taking turns surging through it. A strategy requiring communication, coordination, and possibly planning. They seek out specific coral reefs, where small fish remove parasites from their skin and gills. Returning to the same cleaning stations, year after year. Remembering locations, remembering schedules. A form of symbiosis where both sides benefit, built on trust and habit. Their estimated lifespan reaches 40 years or more, and throughout that lifetime, they never stop learning. In the ocean, memory is a survival weapon every bit as powerful as a strong jaw or raw speed. Three giants, three filter-feeding strategies, all of them gentle, all of them dependent on the ocean's smallest creatures. But not every giant is gentle. In the same waters, an entirely different predator patrols, and it does not filter. It tears. The tiger shark. Named for the dark stripes running along its body, bold in juveniles, fading with age like scars of time erased by the ocean. Their bodies stretch over 18 feet, weighing nearly a ton, not as fast as the great white, not as sleek as the mako. But the tiger shark needs neither speed nor elegance. It has something else: absolute indiscrimination. Scientists call them the garbage cans of the ocean, and that is not an insult. It is a fact. Inside tiger shark stomachs, researchers have found license plates, tires, boat cushions, oil cans. Anything that falls into the ocean can become a meal. Their teeth explain why. Broad, flat, with deep serrations on both edges, not designed to pierce like a great white's, but to saw, like biological saw blades. Those teeth were engineered for one specific purpose: cutting through sea turtle shells, the hardest material on any underwater predator's menu. Tiger sharks possess ampullae of Lorenzini, thousands of tiny pores on the head, each containing electroreceptor cells. Every living creature generates a weak electrical field when muscles contract, when the heart beats. Tiger sharks sense these signals even when prey lies buried under sand, even in total darkness. Their hunting strategy is not speed. It is patience and ambush, patrolling slowly through shallow coastal waters where sea turtles come ashore to nest and return. When an adult green sea turtle glides through murky water, the tiger shark does not give chase. It waits. Waits until the distance is right. Waits until the angle of attack is perfect. Then a single strike, from below, aimed at the edge of the shell. The serrated jaws clamp down. The head shakes violently side to side, the serrations working like a chainsaw, cutting through the shell layer by layer. That is not brutality. That is technique honed over tens of millions of years of evolution. The turtle's shell, the armor that protected this species for 200 million years, is breached in under a second. But not every ambush succeeds. Sea turtles are not easy prey, their shells are fortresses, and their evasion instincts have been sharpened over millions of years. But the tiger shark's favored prey, the green sea turtle, is not a species easily erased. They have survived 5 mass extinctions. An adult green sea turtle's shell stretches over 3 feet, weighing up to 400 pounds. That shell is the product of 200 million years of evolution, a mobile fortress. As adults, green sea turtles become the ocean's gardeners, grazing on seagrass, keeping the meadows healthy. Without green sea turtles, seagrass beds degrade, and hundreds of fish species lose their shelter. A green sea turtle's brain contains magnetite crystals, a biological compass that senses the planet's magnetic field. They return to the very beach where they were born after 20, 30, even 40 years. That magnetic memory never fades. And every turtle that completes this life cycle carries scars on its shell, evidence of dozens of near-death encounters with tiger shark jaws, fishing nets, and an ocean that never forgives. The green sea turtle is not the fastest, not the strongest, but it is the most patient, and in the ocean, patience is the currency of highest value. If these extraordinary tales of survival have captivated you, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Beneath the surface, below the waters where tiger sharks patrol and sea turtles migrate, an entirely different world begins. The twilight zone, the mesopelagic zone. From about 650 to 3,300 feet deep, where sunlight fades until only blue-black darkness remains. This zone accounts for 20% of the global ocean's total volume, yet harbors a secret that science is only beginning to understand. Every night, as the sun sets, billions of creatures from the twilight zone swim up to the surface to feed. Every dawn, they descend once more. This is the largest biological migration on Earth, not the wildebeest of the Serengeti, not the salmon of the Pacific. It is billions of organisms moving vertically every single day through hundreds of feet of water. This vertical migration transports a massive amount of carbon from the surface to the deep, a biological pump that plays a critical role in regulating the global climate. And in the twilight zone, evolution has engineered solutions that light never imagined. In the twilight zone, some fish have evolved tubular eyes pointing straight up, optimized for spotting the silhouettes of prey against the faint glow above. Bodies transparent. Many species have evolved to become nearly invisible organs, muscles, even bones are see-through, to cast no shadow for predators to detect. And then self-made light, bioluminescence. Over 76% of deep-sea organisms can produce their own light. Dragonfish use red light, a wavelength most deep-sea creatures cannot see, like military infrared. They see their prey, but their prey cannot see them. Firefly squid emit hundreds of tiny luminous dots along their bodies like a night sky turned upside down, with stars swimming in the ocean instead of hanging in the heavens. Crystal jellyfish drift through the dark water, their bodies barely existing, nothing but water and flickering light. No brain, no heart, no blood, yet surviving where most organisms cannot. Giant isopods, relatives of the humble pillbug on land, swell to the size of a football in the deep. Low pressure and frigid temperatures allow them to grow slowly, reaching sizes their terrestrial cousins could never dream of. And at the darkest edge of the twilight zone, ghost sharks glide, ancient creatures of the order Chimeriformes, a lineage dating back over 300 million years. Before dinosaurs appeared, before modern sharks evolved, ghost sharks were already here, and they remain virtually unchanged, like living fossils drifting through darkness. Ghost sharks swim by, flapping their pectoral fins up and down, a style entirely unlike modern sharks. Their eyes are large, glowing green, adapted to near absolute darkness. The twilight zone is not a refuge. It is a transition where the rules of light gradually yield to the rules of darkness. And below the twilight zone, where the last trace of light finally dies, there is a creature that does not merely visit the darkness. It lives in the darkness. It hunts in the darkness. It is the only creature on the planet that can traverse every layer of the ocean, from the sunlit surface to the lightless abyss. When the last light goes out, the true journey begins. The sperm whale, the largest toothed creature on Earth, and the only predator that dives through every layer of the ocean. An adult male's body stretches nearly 65 feet. Weight exceeds 55 tons. The enormous head accounts for a third of total body length, a proportion unlike any other living creature. Inside that head sits a brain weighing 8 to 9 pounds, the largest in the entire history of the animal kingdom. Larger than a blue whale's. Larger than an elephant's, larger than any dinosaur that ever lived. But the most astonishing thing is not the size of the brain. It is what fills the rest of the head. The spermaceti organ, a waxy mass weighing up to about 5,500 pounds, occupying most of the head cavity. Many scientists believe it helps regulate buoyancy, changing the temperature of the wax to sink or rise without expending muscular energy. Sperm whales routinely dive to depths between 1,300 and 4,000 feet, but in extreme dives they can plunge past 6,600 feet. Each dive lasts 45 minutes to over an hour in absolute darkness, under crushing pressure, with a limited oxygen supply. To survive, their bodies trigger an extraordinary chain of reflexes. Heart rate drops dramatically. Blood is redirected, concentrated in the brain and heart. Lungs collapse completely to prevent pressure damage. Sperm whales do not breathe underwater. They hold their breath and spend every drop of oxygen like a last coin. In the deep, eyes are utterly useless. And it is here that the sperm whale's true weapon activates. Sound, clicks. Sperm whales produce clicks reaching up to 200 to 36 decibels, the loudest sound generated by any living creature, louder than a jet engine. Those clicks fire from the spermaceti organ like sonar beams, cutting through water, striking objects, and bouncing back. The sperm whale reads the echoes, and inside its mind, a three-dimensional map of the dark water materializes. They see without eyes. They hear shapes. They hear distance. They hear prey. And the primary prey squid. Each day, a sperm whale consumes 1 to 2 tons of food, almost entirely squid. Dozens of dives, dozens of breath holds, dozens of descents into darkness. But sometimes the sonar detects something larger, closer, moving differently. Not a school of small squid, a single individual, colossal, During deep dives, male sperm whales often hunt alone, deeper, farther, longer than females. Solitude is the price of size. The giant squid, tentacles stretching dozens of feet, eyes the size of dinner plates, the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, evolved to capture every last photon in near total darkness. The encounter unfolds beyond the reach of any camera, any scientist, any light. There is only darkness and two colossal creatures. The giant squid fights back. Tentacles wrap around the whale's head, each sucker rimmed with razor-sharp serrations, gripping tight, cutting deep into the skin. But the sperm whale is larger, stronger, and has rehearsed this battle thousands of times in its lifetime. The whale's jaws clamp shut, tentacles go slack, darkness swallows the rest. Sperm whale communication is not just for hunting. They talk to each other in rhythmic sequences of clicks. Scientists call them codas. Each population has its own set of codas. The Caribbean differs from the Pacific, the Mediterranean from the Indian Ocean. These are not random noises. These are dialects, evidence of culture beneath the waves. Female sperm whales live in family units for life, mothers, daughters, granddaughters, sharing babysitting duties, hunting and protecting one another. Mothers teach codas to their calves. The young imitate, correct mistakes, practice the way human children learn to speak, a language passed down through generations, not through genes, but through learning. When a young sperm whale is separated from its mother, its clicks change faster rhythm, higher intensity. Scientists call it a distress call, and the mother responds within seconds. When the whale surfaces, exhaling a spout of vapor rising about 7 feet, sunlight illuminates its body, and on the skin, evidence of the abyss appears. Circular scars, dozens, hundreds imprinted by giant squid suckers. Each scar is a battle. Each battle is a dive into a place no other creature dares to go. Sperm whales carry the darkness on their own bodies, a map of the abyss, written in scars. Deep-sea starfish creep across the muddy floor propelled by hundreds of tiny tube feet, each step spanning only a few fractions of an inch. Speed is measured in inches per minute. A starfish's body contains no air cavities, only water and collagen. Pressure cannot crush them because there is nothing inside to compress. The ocean flows through them. When a gap appears, sometimes only a fraction of an inch wide, the starfish pushes its stomach outside its body, threads it through the gap, and digests its prey right inside the shell. External digestion. In a place where energy is the scarcest resource, the starfish wastes not a single calorie on chewing or swallowing. If it loses an arm, it grows back. Regeneration can take months to years, but in the deep, time is not in short supply. Deep-sea starfish can live for decades, an astonishing lifespan for a creature with no brain, no heart, and virtually no movement. Time in the deep flows differently, slower, more patient, like the ocean itself. Patience is a philosophy. Patience is a strategy. Patience is the only way to survive in a place where everything light, food, oxygen is scarce. The 5th month of the dry season. Across the Masai Mara, the heat is no longer weather, it is pressure. A physical force bearing down on every living thing, wringing out every last drop of moisture, closing the gap between today and the final day. The grass died long ago. Only brittle stalks remain, collapsed across cracked earth like the bones of a land in its death throes. And in the middle of all this, a pride of lions lies beneath the sole remaining acacia within a 2-kilometer radius. In lion society, there is a truth that appearances often conceal. The male with his thick mane, massive frame, and a roar that carries 5 miles is the symbol of the pride. But symbols do not feed anyone. "90% of a lion pride's food comes from the females. They are 40% smaller than the males, nearly 150 pounds lighter, and precisely because of this, faster, more enduring, more agile in every stride of the chase. While the male defends territory and repels intruders, it is the females who keep the heart of the pride beating. Today, that heart must work twice as hard. The largest lioness in the pride, an old scar running the length of her muzzle from a hunt years ago, rises as the sun begins to angle westward. This is the moment. After hours of watching, the zebra herd has finally begun moving toward the eastern waterhole. And the hunters spring into action. The lead lioness stands, the others follow instantly, in absolute silence. Lionesses do not hunt with individual strength. They hunt through coordination, splitting directions, cutting off escape routes, and driving prey into fatal mistakes. The zebra herd is still drinking when tawny shapes begin to separate through the grass. The lead lioness locks her gaze on a zebra mare standing slightly apart from the herd. That is enough. The lead female explodes into a sprint. The herd detonates in chaos, but the zebra mare has already been cut off. She runs straight, and the lead lioness is already waiting ahead. The hunt ends just minutes after it began. Feeding order within a lion pride is never random. It is a social system enforced through strength and seniority. Normally, the male eats first, not because he hunted, but because no one is strong enough to stop him. But today, the male cannot arrive in time. He rises slowly, limping toward the carcass, and by the time he reaches it, the females have been eating for 15 minutes. They do not yield immediately. They continue feeding, heads buried in the carcass, eyes never lifting. This is a rare sight. And a necessary one, because the cubs are waiting behind them. If the females do not eat enough, there will be no milk, no strength to hunt tomorrow, nothing to hold this pride together one more day. Night falls swiftly on the savannah. The pride clusters around the carcass cubs, pressed tight against their mothers' bellies, the male lying apart on the outer edge, his hind leg stretched straight to ease the pressure on a swollen joint. And with the darkness, a cackling cry begins rising from the east. Spotted hyenas, the species most people still dismiss as scavengers, but that label is entirely wrong. Spotted hyenas are hunters, and not ordinary ones. Where lionesses hunt through ambush tactics, explosive bursts over short distances, concluded in minutes, hyenas hunt through endurance. They do not need to be faster than prey. They only need to last longer. A few miles from the lion pride, the hyena clan has launched its own hunt. Hyenas do not ambush. They charge straight out into the open and begin a long-distance pursuit. When the distance closes enough, the entire clan takes turns lunging in to bite and tear. Two styles of hunting, two entirely different philosophies, but the same result. On this savanna, no single tactic is universally correct, only the tactic suited to the creature that wields it. Dawn rises over the Masai Mara. The lion cubs scramble over their mother's back in the early light, carefree as though nothing happened the night before. And the lead female, the old scar on her muzzle, catching the morning sun, has already risen, gazing toward the horizon. No rest longer than necessary. Because the zebra herd is moving again. And the pride must eat again by this afternoon. On this savanna, no one is permitted to be merely a symbol. Everyone must work. And the ones who work most quietly are usually the ones keeping everything from falling apart. That is the law of the savanna. But not all power in nature belongs to the strongest. There exists a place on earth so vast, so ancient, and so chaotic that raw muscular strength becomes almost meaningless. A place where even the most fearsome predators must submit to an invisible force they can neither see nor resist. Welcome to the Amazon rainforest, 2.6 million square miles of wild tropical jungle. This is no peaceful green garden. This is the most brutal battleground for survival on the planet. Beneath the darkened canopy, millions of organisms compete for every sliver of living space. Here, the adaptable survive. The vulnerable are consumed. And within this colossal biological engine, one question has always persisted. Who truly rules the Amazon? To find the answer, we will not look upward to the top of the food chain. We will cast our gaze down to the very bottom where true power is quietly forged. Because in the Amazon, size has never been the measure of strength. In this Emerald Kingdom, organization is the supreme weapon. Beneath the thick layer of decaying leaves on the Amazon floor, an empire operates. Silent, disciplined, and more numerous than any army in human history. Leafcutter ants are nature's original farmers. Tens of millions of years before humans learned to cultivate, they had already domesticated fungi. Every day, millions of leafcutter ants leave the colony, climb tree trunks, slice leaf fragments with surgical precision, and carry them back on their bodies. But they do not eat the leaves. They grow their food. The leaves are chewed into pulp, mixed with saliva, then spread across fungal beds in a tunnel system deep underground. The fungus grows on this decomposing substrate, and that is the true meal for the entire colony. The first agriculture on this planet did not belong to humans. It belonged to an insect weighing less than 1/10 of a gram. A single leafcutter colony can number up to 8 million individuals, 8 million organisms functioning as a single body. And at the center of this empire, a single queen. The leafcutter queen lives 14 to 20 years. Over her lifetime, she produces more than 150 million daughters. 150 million. No creature on Earth, including humans, can generate a lineage that vast within a single lifetime. Every ant knows its exact role. Sentinel, cutter, transporter, fungus farmer. None needs teaching, none needs reminding. No central brain, no verbal commands, only pheromones. Pheromones, the chemical signals each ant secretes, are the invisible language of the empire. A single pheromone trail coordinates hundreds of thousands of individuals simultaneously, more precise than any communication system humans have ever devised. Each year, the colony processes tons of soil, excavating, aerating, recycling nutrients across the entire forest floor. Without ants, the Amazon's soil would suffocate. But the underground empire does not consist only of farmers. There are also invaders. Army ants are the perfect antithesis of the leafcutter. Where leafcutters build, army ants destroy. A single army ant raid mobilizes up to 200,000 individuals. They pour across the forest floor like a black river, stretching over 200 meters, obliterating everything in their path. Insects, spiders, scorpions, even small lizards, nothing escapes this army.
In the jungle, survival is a brutal battle.
The rustling of hundreds of thousands of tiny legs across dead leaves is the last sound many creatures ever hear. Army ants build no permanent nests. They construct bivouacs, living structures assembled from thousands of ants locking their legs together. This living wall shields the queen and larvae through the night. When dawn arrives, the bivouac dismantles. The army marches again. No rest, no negotiation, no borders. Whether building or destroying, this is not mere instinct. This is the mathematics of evolution honed across tens of millions of years, more refined than any governance system ever conceived. If the jaguar is the symbol of power in the Amazon, then ants are the foundation keeping the entire forest running. Strength does not reside in size. It resides in organization. But the ground is only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the water, a world far more terrifying awaits, where power is measured not by fangs or claws, but by something entirely invisible. Up to 8 feet long, weighing nearly 44 pounds. It looks more like a rotting log than a predator, but appearances deceive. This is the electric eel, and it carries within its body a weapon no other species on Earth possesses. The electric eel is not, in truth, an eel at all. It belongs to the order Gymnotiformes, the knifefish more closely related to catfish and carp. The name eel is a centuries-old mistake. The elongated shape fooled everyone. Biologically, it is an entirely different animal. Inside the electric eel's body lie 3 separate electrical organs: the main organ, Sachs organ, and Hunter's organ. Each organ serves a distinct purpose, and this division of function stands as evidence of millions of years of evolutionary refinement. Sachs's organ emits weak electrical pulses, 10 to 100 volts, not for attack but to see. This is a biological sonar system. Electrical waves radiate outward, bounce off surrounding objects, and paint a 3-dimensional map of the underwater environment. In the opaque water where ordinary eyes are useless, the electric eel perceives the world through its electric field. Every organism passing through creates a disturbance, and the eel detects it. When the target enters range, hunting mode engages. "80% of its body consists of cells stacked upon each other like thousands of batteries. When the command fires, all discharge simultaneously. A massive electrical pulse surges through the murky water. The prey has no time to react. Muscles lock. The nervous system shuts down. The contest ends in milliseconds. For larger targets, the electric eel coils its body around the victim like a tightening electromagnet, doubling the intensity of the lethal strike. No claws, no fangs. Power in the Amazon is sometimes completely invisible. But the electric eel is not the only creature making the Amazon River deadly. There is another army far smaller, but 1,000 times more numerous. When people mention piranhas, Hollywood has built a legend, a ravenous school capable of stripping a cow to bone in minutes. That legend is almost entirely false. The red-bellied piranha Pygocentris natureri reaches a maximum of about 13 inches, weighing roughly 7.5 pounds, far smaller than the movies suggest. But do not confuse size with power. The piranha's teeth are among the most perfect weapons evolution has ever produced. Triangular, razor-sharp, interlocking like scissor blades. Bite force relative to body size ranks among the strongest in the freshwater fish world. But the scientific truth is more surprising than any horror film. Piranhas are primarily scavengers. Most of the time they feed on carrion, insects that fall into the water, seeds, even algae. The cinematic killer Hollywood invented? It barely exists. Feeding frenzies, collective feeding explosions, are exceedingly rare. They occur only when piranhas are desperately starved or when dropping water levels crowd hundreds into shallow pools. In reality, piranhas are rather timid. They typically avoid large objects, and most of their lives pass in caution rather than aggression. Piranhas possess a lateral line system running along both flanks, detecting vibrations in the water with remarkable precision. When a piranha is wounded, chemical signals disperse through the water. The entire school reacts immediately, not to cannibalize, but to mount a collective defense. Piranha teeth shed and regrow throughout their lives, always sharp, always ready. Evolution equipped them with a self-repairing arsenal. Hundreds of small brains, connected through chemistry and vibration, reacting in an instant. They act as a single organism. The piranha's true role is not killer. They are the sanitation crew clearing carcasses, preventing disease, keeping the river healthy. Without piranhas, animal carcasses would accumulate. Bacteria would bloom. Thousands of other fish species would perish from epidemic disease. The razor-toothed army keeps the river clean so that life may continue. But there is one predator that hunts piranhas as though they were easy prey, a hunter that preys upon the cleaners themselves. The giant otter Terranura brasiliensis, the longest otter species in the world. Six feet from nose to tail, 48 to 75 pounds of pure muscle. IUCN classifies them as endangered. The fur trade of the 20th century nearly erased this species from existence. Today, mercury contamination from artisanal gold mining, deforestation, and dam construction continue to threaten the remaining populations. Their future hangs by a thread. But in the river stretches where they still endure, giant otters are the one adversary nobody wants to face. They hunt in groups 3 to 8 or more, moving in synchrony underwater at speeds around 9 miles per hour. A double-layered, waterproof coat keeps their bodies warm in cold currents. Not a single drop of water touches the skin beneath. The giant otter's call pierces through heavy jungle. Each individual possesses a unique vocalization, an acoustic fingerprint. Researchers have documented more than 20 distinct sound types, from warning barks to hunting screams. Complex group communication, precise cooperative hunting. This is not a wild animal pack. This is a tactical unit. When hunting fish, the group fans out in a line, driving schools into shallow water. Each otter holds a position like players on a pitch. Each day, a single giant otter consumes 6 to 9 pounds of fish. Multiply that across the group, the quantity of fish vanishing daily is staggering. And here lies the most remarkable fact. Giant otters hunt piranhas. The cleaners become the prey. The piranha's razor teeth become meaningless against the speed, coordination, and bite force of the otter. The hunter that hunts the creature everyone fears. But piranhas are not the most formidable opponent. Giant otters confront even black caimans, the largest predator in the Amazon basin. When facing a black caiman, the entire otter group surrounds it, lunging in to bite from multiple directions, creating chaos. The caiman, despite outweighing them tenfold, is overwhelmed by coordination. A group of 20 otters can force a black caiman into retreat. The collective defeats the individual. Numbers plus discipline outweigh solitary strength. That is, the law giant otters have proven across millions of years. The one who controls the river might seem to hold supreme power. But the Amazon is not only water. Where water meets land, muddy riverbanks, submerged root systems, darkness beneath the canopy, the true rulers finally emerge. Who do you think truly rules the Amazon? Share your thoughts in the comments below. But the most terrifying chapter has yet to begin. At the riverbank, where water meets land, 3 of the planet's most powerful predators share a single territory. Three apex predators, 3 creatures strong enough to kill anything, and none willing to yield. The first has been here since before the dinosaurs vanished. It is the immortal shadow of the Amazon. The black caiman Melanosuchus niger, the largest crocodilian in the Amazon basin. Adults reach 16 to 20 feet, weighing several hundred pounds. Jet black skin not by accident. In the blackwater regions of the Amazon, where tannins from decaying leaves stain the river the color of dark tea, the black caiman disappears completely. Perfect camouflage. The predator becomes the darkness, and darkness never warns before it strikes. The black caiman's eyes see through the dark courtesy of the tapetum lucidum, reflecting the faintest light, turning pitch-black night into broad daylight. It lies motionless for hours, only its eyes and nostrils breaking the surface. Patience is the strategy, time is the ally. After feeding, the black caiman can fast for weeks, even months. A metabolic rate slowed to perfection across millions of years transforms each meal into a long-term investment. In the 20th century, the black caiman nearly vanished. The hide trade pushed them to the brink of extinction. CITES Appendix 1. The highest level of protection was the last lifeline keeping this species from the abyss. Today, populations have recovered tens of thousands of individuals in the wild, primarily within protected reserves. But the future remains fragile. The black caiman has survived 65 million years of upheaval through ice ages, through the extinction of the dinosaurs. Ancient, patient, nearly invincible, but even the black caiman has something to fear. In the darkness where submerged roots tangle beneath the surface, another creature waits, more silent, more patient, and possessing the purest brute force in the reptile world. The green anaconda Eunectes murinus, the heaviest snake on Earth. Reaching 20 feet in length, a body as thick as a tree trunk, heavier than any serpent that has ever lived. The anaconda is the supreme ambush specialist. Eyes and nostrils positioned atop the head, allowing it to lie almost completely submerged, exposing only 2 tiny points above the waterline. Prey never sees it coming until it is too late. When the anaconda strikes, it does not bite to kill. It constricts. Coil after coil of solid muscle wraps around the victim, and with every exhalation the coils tighten. But the killing mechanism is not suffocation as long believed. Modern research by Dr. Scott Bobak has demonstrated that death comes from circulatory arrest. The crushing pressure sends blood pressure soaring. The heart can no longer pump. Internal organs fail. Within minutes, the prey dies not from lack of air, but because the blood stops flowing. Circulatory arrest. A silent death, efficient and more merciless than any venom. Once the prey is dead, the anaconda dislocates its lower jaw. The bones can separate entirely and swallows the victim whole, often consuming animals larger than itself. The swallowing process can take hours. The anaconda's entire body distorts, stretching and bending around the prey like a living sack. A single large meal can sustain an anaconda for weeks, even months. During that time, it lies motionless, digesting slowly, invisible among roots and mud. Safe in the water, sluggish on land. The anaconda is a creature of two worlds, but truly dangerous only when water is the battlefield. Silent, patient, overwhelming force. The anaconda needs no speed. It needs only a single opportunity. The black caiman dominates through bite force. The anaconda dominates through constriction. But there is a third one capable of hunting both. The jaguar Panthera onca, the uncrowned king of the Amazon. The strongest bite force among all big cats, 1,000 to 1,500 pounds per square inch. Stronger than a lion, stronger than a Bengal tiger pound for pound. And the jaguar does not bite the neck like a lion, nor the belly like a leopard. It bites directly through the skull-piercing bone, striking the brain, a technique unique among the great cats. One bite. Instant termination. But what makes the jaguar the supreme apex predator is not bite force alone, it is adaptability. It swims powerfully, one of the few big cats that hunts in water. It sees in darkness, courtesy of tapetum lucidum, reflecting every faint ray of light. The rosette-patterned coat is not merely beautiful. Each rosette disrupts the body's outline, transforming the jaguar into dappled fragments of light on the forest floor. Flawless camouflage beneath the filtered canopy. At night, the jaguar becomes virtually invisible. Soft paws tread soundlessly across dead leaves. Prey becomes aware of its presence only when everything is already too late. The jaguar hunts caimans. It leaps from the riverbank, biting through the caiman's skull from behind. The attack concludes in seconds before the caiman can even turn. No other big cat on Earth possesses this skill. Hunting armored reptiles in water. That is the exclusive domain of the Amazon jaguar. A predator that operates on land, in water, and in the trees. There is nowhere in the Amazon the jaguar cannot reach. The Amazon holds 89% of the global jaguar population. Losing the Amazon means losing the jaguar and losing the keystone species that maintains balance across the entire ecosystem. IUCN classifies the jaguar as near threatened. Deforestation, habitat loss, and human conflict shrink their territory every year. Weighing over 220 pounds in the Amazon, where prey is most abundant, jaguars here are significantly larger than their Central American counterparts. Massive size, superior bite force, limitless adaptability. The jaguar stands as the pinnacle of evolution in the Amazon. But even the pinnacle is not safe. Three creatures at the top of the food chain. Three beings powerful enough to kill anything within their domain. But none of them is truly safe. The black caiman can be ambushed by the jaguar. The anaconda can be torn apart by the black caiman. Jaguar cubs can be constricted to death by the anaconda. This is the law of the Amazon. There is no invincible predator. only one that has not yet met the right opponent. The power triangle Cayman, it is three prisoners locked in a cycle from which none can escape. And that is the answer to the question posed at the beginning, but not the answer most would expect. Every year, 4,281 square miles of Amazon rainforest disappear according to 2020 data from INPE, Brazil's National Institute for Space Research. "4,000 square miles. Equivalent to the area of a small nation, every single year. When the forest vanishes, the food chain collapses. Ants lose the forest floor, spiders lose the darkness, electric eels lose the waterways, piranhas lose the rivers. Giant otters endangered. Jaguars near threatened. Black caimans barely pulled back from the edge of extinction, now facing new threats. Climate change extends the dry season. Rivers shrink. Aquatic predators lose their shelter. And when the water recedes, every conflict grows more savage. Artisanal gold mining pumps mercury into the rivers, poisoning fish, poisoning otters, poisoning the indigenous communities living along the water's edge. Numbers do not lie, but numbers cannot tell the whole story. The Amazon is not merely a forest, it is a lung. It is an oxygen factory. It is a climate shield for the entire planet. And it is being destroyed faster than any ecosystem on Earth. But amid all this destruction, the original question still echoes: who truly rules the Amazon? Not the jaguar, though its bite pierces through skulls. Not the black caiman, though its armor is older than the dinosaurs. Not the anaconda, not the electric eel, not the piranha. The true ruler of the Amazon is the ecosystem as a whole, where the smallest, most silent organisms keep everything running. Remember the ant empire from the beginning of this story. 8 million individuals, 150 million daughters from a single queen, tons of soil processed every year. Without ants, the forest floor suffocates. Without piranhas, the rivers fester. Without otters, fish populations collapse. Without electric eels, the underwater ecological web fractures. Every organism, from the smallest to the largest, is a single link. Remove one link, and the entire chain falls apart. Strength does not reside in size. It resides in organization, in connection, in a balance that only nature can create. That is the most ancient law of the Amazon, a law that 2.6 million square miles of rainforest has obeyed for millions of years. Within the heart of this planet, there is a place where life turns most savage. A place that does not belong to humankind. And perhaps should not. Thank you for joining Nature's Moments. The natural world still holds countless stories waiting to be told. We will see you on the next journey. For those who have not yet subscribed, now is the time. Because the Amazon and the astonishing creatures within it deserves to be known by more people. In this challenging ecosystem, the baboon stands out as one of the most resourceful and adaptable residents. These primates live in large family groups known as troops. Each member has a role. Dominant males maintain order and protect the group. These social ties are not only emotional but also tactical, providing protection. Baboons communicate in a remarkably complex way through a variety of vocalizations. These animals are highly opportunistic natural omnivores. They feed on fruits, seeds, roots, and small animals. With their nimble fingers and watchful eyes, they scour the ground, lifting branches. This combination of intelligence, cooperation, and constant vigilance makes baboons natural survivors. In the delta, baboons move skillfully between the riverine forests and the open plains. They are, in essence, a reflection of the delta itself. Unpredictable, resilient, intense. And it is not only the large terrestrial animals that benefit from the flood. In the mythology of the Khoisan people, baboons were once a tribe of humans. But for their laziness, their love of noisy gossip and theft, they were punished by the gods. A hoe was transformed into a tail, fused to the spine, forcing them to walk on all fours. The humble posture of the baboon is an eternal warning against the consequences of indolence. Today, on the savannah, myth has given way to harsh reality, and the brain is their ultimate weapon of survival. Baboons are masters of strategy, diplomacy, and alliance. Their lives are woven from complex relationships, silent pacts, and unending confrontations. To survive, they have formed one of the most effective defensive coalitions on the plains. Action stems not from altruism, but from cold calculation. On the vast savannah, the baboon and the impala form a perfect defensive alliance. The impala's hearing and sense of smell are far superior. It can detect the scent of a predator from a great distance. Meanwhile, the baboon, with its elevated position and sharp vision, can survey any movement on the horizon. Together, they form a dual radar system with no blind spots. Against such a mixed group, a leopard's success rate falls below 20%. It is in this role as sentinel that a fateful confrontation unfolds. Their greatest nightmare, Africa's most successful solitary predator, is concealed in the bush, the leopard. Its weapon is not fang or claw, but the art of absolute camouflage. A coat of rosettes breaks up the body's outline, allowing it to merge with its surroundings. It approaches its prey without making a sound. But the leopard commands only the space before it, having neglected the sky above. On a nearby acacia branch, a baboon has been watching for some time. With trichromatic vision, like that of a human, it clearly distinguishes every movement in the landscape. The leopard's camouflage is rendered useless before these discerning eyes. A short, dry bark shatters the silence. It is the highest level of alarm. The impala does not think. It reacts on pure instinct. It leaps into the air, performing a stot of nearly 10 feet before vanishing into the thicket. The hunt is over before the leopard has even begun. Fury rises in the heart of the predator. While the baboon troop cheers in exhilaration, leaping triumphantly in the high branches, below, the leopard retreats with an empty stomach. The hunter needs a new target on which to vent its rage, the warthog. One should not be deceived by its ungainly appearance. The warthog is a light armored tank, capable of reaching speeds of 30 miles per hour. It possesses two pairs of curved razor-sharp tusks, honed continuously every time it opens its mouth. When threatened, the warthog backs into its burrow, pointing its tusks outward like a deadly fence. The burrow's entrance becomes an impregnable fortress. The leopard's only chance is to strike while the warthog is still in retreat. The warthog's vision is poor. It relies mainly on its sense of smell. The leopard launches like a golden arrow. The warthog panics, trying to flee to its burrow, but it is too late. A precise bite to the throat ends all resistance. It was a technically perfect hunt, but a nutritional failure. The hunger remains, and the image of the baboon still haunts the leopard's mind. It is time to settle the score. Dusk descends, and darkness envelops the savannah. The fading light takes with it the confidence of diurnal creatures like the baboon. But for the leopard, this is when the true performance begins. The 50-foot-high canopy is no longer a safe refuge. Behind the leopard's retina lies a secret weapon, the tapetum lucidum. This biological structure acts like a living mirror, reflecting light back through the retina. As a result, the leopard's eyes gather light 7 times more effectively than human eyes. The moment the leopard sets foot on the main branch, chaos erupts. There is no defensive formation, no alarm call, no resistance. The baboons are in a state of panic. No one sees the enemy. No one knows where it came from. The leopard glides through the turmoil with a terrifying calm. It targets the largest prize, the most powerful male baboon. Its steel-like jaws clamp down on the prey's skull. When the sun returns, the balance of power instantly shifts. The baboons regain their trichromatic vision and, more importantly, the confidence of their numbers. The trauma of the previous night quickly transforms into collective fury. More than 50 baboons forge a menacing semicircular cordon. Theirs is not an attack of bites, but a campaign of psychological warfare. The leopard, a solitary predator, is suddenly dwarfed by this hostile assembly. It knows that a single wound could spell the end of its life as a hunter. This overwhelming imbalance of power forces a retreat. The shrieking baboons give chase, their intent not to kill, but to disgrace. This is their most satisfying retribution. The victory over the leopard is like a shot of adrenaline injected into the entire troop. A wave of euphoria spreads, driving them to challenge the very throne of the savannah. Their target is the lion, the apex of the food chain. They are not so foolish as to attack a 290-pound adult lioness. But to eliminate a future king, that is the ultimate survival strategy. When hunger compels the lioness to hunt, her cubs are left hidden in the thicket. At only 3 weeks old and weighing less than 11 pounds, they rely completely on their ability to remain unseen. Their spotted coats provide camouflage in the dappled light. This disguise might deceive a hyena, but for the baboons, the sentinels from above, it is no defense. Having spotted their target, the troop approaches with a clear strategy: to seize the young. In mere seconds, the lion cub is torn from its hiding place and dragged away in the confusion. By the time the lioness returns, it is too late. The thicket that once sheltered her young is now empty and cold. Her roar echoes, filled with agony and fury. But the baboons are already in the high branches, far beyond the reach of her claws. Today, they have struck a fatal blow to the king's empire. The pain of losing a child cannot fill a stomach roaring with hunger. On the contrary, hatred consumes energy faster than any metabolic process. To exact her revenge, the lioness needs fuel. Her target is the blue wildebeest, the nomads of the savannah. A fully grown male can weigh up to 550 pounds, a mobile fortress of muscle with a pair of scythe-like horns. The lioness knows her own biological limits. With a heart that is small in proportion to her body, she cannot sustain a long chase. She must get within the kill zone, a range of about 100 feet. An opportunity arises when a wildebeest strays from the herd. The lioness coils every muscle, then springs like an arrow. The impact is like a motorcycle hitting a brick wall. It thrashes violently, escaping into the chaos of the herd. The lioness watches, helpless, as her quarry disappears among hundreds of its kind. Defeated by the wall of horns, the lioness must change her target. She turns her attention to the noisy neighbors who always travel with the wildebeest, the plains zebra. On the savannah, wildebeest and zebra coexist in a perfect nutritional balance. The zebra graze first, consuming the tougher, older grasses. In doing so, they clear the way for the wildebeest to reach the tender green shoots beneath. But for a lion, a herd of zebra presents a complex visual puzzle. When the herd moves in a panic, thousands of stripes merge into a bewildering optical illusion. With her monochromatic vision, the lioness cannot distinguish one individual from another. But this time, the lioness has no other option. Hunger has sharpened her senses to their absolute peak. She ignores the visual chaos and locks onto a single zebra at the edge of the herd. It is a weak link in the defensive chain. The lioness attacks from the flank. Her knife-like claws sink deep into the zebra's flesh. The zebra stumbles, loses its balance, and finally collapses. A bite to the trachea, and all resistance ends in silence. The Sand People tell a fascinating story about this animal. Long ago, the zebra's coat was entirely white. When a great drought swept the savannah, a fierce baboon took control of the only waterhole. The zebra bravely rose to challenge the baboon. In the ensuing confrontation, the zebra delivered a powerful kick, sending the baboon flying against a rock and leaving the permanent red mark seen on the baboon's rump to this day. However, in the struggle, the zebra lost balance and fell backward into a fire. As a result, the burning logs left long black scorch marks across the zebra's white coat. The energy from 110 pounds of zebra meat is converted into raw, muscular power. The surge of glucose reactivates the clarity and strategic calculation in the lioness's brain. It is time to execute a brutal plan of revenge. Lions are the only cats with a complex social structure, and coordinated hunting is the pinnacle of their tactical intelligence. But this time, the tactic is not a complex encirclement. Their target is specific, the alpha male. Complacent. After his victory, the alpha baboon makes a fatal mistake, straying from the protection of his troop. This is the moment the lions have been waiting for. But they do not anticipate that their roars of victory and the chaos of the hunt have unintentionally awakened the fury of an implacable foe. The Cape buffalo. The Cape buffalo. This is an act of proactive, defensive aggression. The Cape buffalo is the only animal in Africa known to actively hunt lions. The lion pride's perfect ambush rapidly disintegrates. The buffalo has no interest in the baboons. Its only goal is to eliminate the big cats that dared to trespass on its territory. Amidst the chaos, the lions are forced to abandon their kill to save themselves, giving the baboons a chance to escape to the safety of the high branches. Possessing a neck skin nearly an inch thick that serves as a natural shield, and a fused horn boss on its head as hard as rock, the buffalo is a living tank. The baboons have survived by a simple principle. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And once again, the Cape buffalo has proven that on this savanna, it is sometimes the one that dictates the rules of the game. Having survived life-or-death confrontations with the kings and phantoms of the savannah, the baboon troop now faces a new reality at the edge of the dense forest. The light fades beneath a thick canopy, a place where their intelligence is pushed to its absolute limit. This is the domain of the chimpanzee. At Gom Stream National Park, scientists have documented a harsh reality. Chimpanzees have an intense craving for animal protein. But the baboons are not entirely defenseless. The wahoo call rings out like an alarm, and the entire troop reacts instantly. They take a great risk, scrambling onto the thinnest branches where the chimpanzees' heavier bodies cannot follow. Here, their smaller size becomes their greatest advantage for survival. The intelligence of the baboon has long captured the attention of biomedical science. They share up to 94% of their DNA with humans and have organs of a similar size. Baboons were used in some of the first heart and liver transplants and as research models for epilepsy. Their silent suffering in laboratories remains an ethical debate without end. In their conflict with chimpanzees, the baboons are rarely alone. Sometimes, the chimpanzee's hunt is met with an unexpected obstacle. The appearance of a hornbill shatters all of their plans. Lacking the fine serrations on its primary wing feathers, the hornbill's aerodynamics are poor. This creates turbulent airflows, causing each wing beat to produce a resounding whoosh sound. At a distance of over 300 feet, the noise can reach 70 decibels. The jarring sound in the quiet forest is like the roar of a motorcycle. From its vantage point above, the hornbill misses no movement below. It possesses 4-channel color vision, allowing it to detect spectrums of light invisible to most mammals. To the bird's eyes, the black coats of the chimpanzees stand out sharply against the green foliage. Upon spotting a threat, the startled hornbill takes flight. Its heavy wing beats and alarm calls echo through the forest. For the baboons, this is precious information, a clear signal that chimpanzees are very close. The element of surprise, the key to any successful ambush, has completely vanished. Below, red river hogs approach quietly. They are drawn here by a symbiotic relationship. Over 30% of the fruit dropped by the primates above becomes a buffet for them on the forest floor. A group of red river hogs, known as a sounder, typically consists of 12 to 20 individuals. They move like a whirlwind, sweeping the ground beneath the trees. Their snout, with its tough cartilage and elastic nasal disc, combined with powerful neck muscles, turns them into living plows. They can churn up 4 inches of soil in seconds, searching for roots and insects. Their sense of smell acts as a highly sensitive biological radar. The noise from the sounder plunges the immediate area into chaos. They inadvertently become spoilers of any ambush that relies on the chimpanzee's silence. However, chimpanzees dare not challenge the red river hogs. These animals can weigh up to 220 pounds and reach speeds of 22 miles per hour when threatened. True to their name, they are excellent swimmers and will not hesitate to dive into water to escape. But the greatest threat to the chimpanzee's plan comes from the African bush elephant. These ecosystem engineers possess the power to alter the very structure of the forest. An adult elephant must consume over 300 pounds of vegetation each day. Their inefficient digestive system compels them to eat almost constantly. With a trunk containing over 40,000 muscle bundles, they can topple even large trees. Each felled tree inadvertently creates a strategic disaster for the chimpanzees. The fallen trunk blocks the aerial pathways they use to corner the baboons. A dangerous gap now opens in the canopy. The chimpanzees are trapped. They cannot jump across such a void. Their only option is to descend to the ground. And at that moment, the game changes entirely. On the flat forest floor, the biological advantage shifts completely to the baboons. Chimpanzees walk on their knuckles. Their pelvic structure and spine, adapted for climbing, make sprinting awkward and inefficient. Baboons, in contrast, are true four-legged sprinters. They can reach speeds of 28 miles per hour and maintain incredible stamina. The baboons seize their opportunity, dashing across the open ground and leaving their pursuers far behind. As the baboons make their escape, the chimpanzee's hunger remains unappeased. Their gaze shifts to the high canopy, where red colobus monkeys are moving slowly. The presence of the red colobus inadvertently provides a shield for the baboons. When chimpanzees attack, the red colobus monkeys are almost completely unable to resist. They lack the knowledge to escape to the flimsy outer branches as the baboons do. The males gather and scream in an attempt to intimidate, but weighing only 22 pounds and possessing no real weapons, their efforts are futile. The success rate for chimpanzees hunting red colobus can be as high as 85%. Once a colobus monkey is targeted, its chance of survival is vanishingly slim. The baboons live, while the red colobus pays the ultimate price. The baboons' survival instincts and intelligence are not limited to defense. They are also opportunistic predators. Newborn impala become targets for male baboons in need of protein. But the impala mothers do not give up their young easily. Maternal instinct transforms them into fierce warriors. Faced with such determined resistance, the baboons often have to retreat. With Thompson's gazelles, the situation is entirely different. Thompson's gazelles are renowned for their speed, capable of reaching 50 miles per hour. But for a newborn fawn, the primary survival strategy is to remain perfectly still. Its grayish-brown coat allows it to blend in with the dry grass. This tactic might deceive a lion or a hyena, but it is useless against the trichromatic vision of a baboon. They see the young gazelle as clearly as an ink spot on white paper. There is no sound to give warning. The baboon lunges, and a single decisive bite ends everything. So fast, the prey has almost no time to react. It is all over in seconds, cold, precise, and absolute. Escaping the claws and jaws of the land does not mean an end to all danger. The seemingly calm water marks the boundary between life and death. They know that here, all of their survival advantages are rendered useless. A speed of 28 miles per hour on land means nothing in the current. Their phenomenal climbing skills are of no use. They are completely and utterly vulnerable. And the enemy that waits here is a killing machine, perfected over 200 million years. The Nile crocodile, a living fossil from the Jurassic period, is the most successful predator in evolutionary history. It has no need for pursuit. An extremely slow metabolism allows it to lie motionless in the mud for hours on end. The flat surface of the river is a perfect visual illusion. Only its eyes and nostrils break the surface, camouflaged amongst the water hyacinths. On the crocodile's snout are hundreds of dermal pressure receptors visible as small black dots. They are 10 times more sensitive than human fingertips. Amid this relentless cycle, life is sustained not only by muscular strength, but by a symphony of intellect and calculated alliances. Each creature carries its own strategy to compensate for biological shortcomings, where unity forms a protective wall and alertness becomes the ultimate weapon. This game has no room for error. For every fragile gap is a boundary of fate. In the end, reality teaches that to survive, instinct must always be paired with relentless acuity. Dawn breaks over the African plains, draping a thin veil of mist across the golden grasses. At this hour, dappled shadows begin to stir. This is a family of African painted wolves, one of the most cohesive hunting communities on our planet. They move in silence, yet without a hint of chaos. At the heart of the pack, the alpha pair leads with a quiet, steady confidence. They are the leaders, the parents, the nucleus that maintains the rhythm of the entire community. A mere glance or a soft chortle from their throats suffices to direct the group, as if sharing a single mind. In this fragile wilderness, consensus is found not in roars, but in the sharp, rhythmic staccato of a sneeze. It is a primitive democracy. Only when enough voices join this audible choir does the pack move as one, driven by a collective will. Their mottled coats of gold, charcoal, and white are entirely unique to each individual. Each is a masterpiece of nature, painted with a purposeful yet spontaneous hand. Their large, satellite dish ears amplify every sound while dissipating heat against the rising temperatures of the coming day. As the sun climbs, the alpha pair halts at the distant fringes of the plain. A young wildebeest has strayed from its herd, caught off guard in a seemingly harmless moment. For a creature relying on an innate magnetic compass for navigation, isolation means losing both protection and direction. Scientists believe they sense the Earth's magnetic field to guide their epic migrations. Isolated, the calf faces not just a predator, but the disorientation of a vast, overwhelming world. This is the opportunity, and the signal. Without a roar or a bark, the pack surges forward like a sudden, invisible gale. Their slender frames glide over the earth, kicking up columns of golden dust. The group tightens the noose. The pursuit is ended swiftly, efficiently, and with terrifying precision. The entire pack gathers around the fallen prey. There is no quarreling, no jostling for position. African painted wolves are among the few species that regard the sharing of food as sacred. In a land where life balances precariously on the edge, such solidarity is the key to their endurance. As the sun crowns the horizon, bathing their dappled fur in light, the group moves off quietly. A new day has begun, laden with risks, opportunities, and untold stories.